The weather's getting colder and we're all getting older. Look outside, we can see the times. And if you're feeling lonely next to the radiator glow, in November we got someplace you can go. Yeah. So put on your Sunday best. You can meet us at our website address. You don't have to bring a potluck dish, just grab something to drink. Parents, you got your board, your drugs, just pick something to think. We're all great descending life, trying to make a living. Have a human landmine Thanksgiving. Hello, everybody. It's Paul here with my co-host Steven, and we'd like to welcome you to a very special Thanksgiving episode of Human Landmines. This is our first holiday special we've ever done. And I know the holidays can be weird because a lot of people are traveling and they're in places that they don't know or that they know too well. And it's a time where even if you're not spending it with your family, there are people you definitely think about. You think about all the past Thanksgivings that you've ever had with your family or friends, or the weird Thanksgiving you spent it with the next door neighbor Marty's family and they were super bizarre. But we hope that this year you'll hopefully listen to this, whether it's on Turkey Day or a little before or a little after. This is supposed to let you know that we're going to keep broadcasting on Thanksgiving even after the world ends.
We have
Thanksgiving, it's not going to be lost, in the wake of the bombs or the airborne and bloodborne pathogens that murder the human race. Thanksgiving's always going to have a place here at Human Landmines.
That's right. And whether you're escaping your stupid, abusive family that never accepted you after you turned gay for Ronnie 4 years ago, and you need to watch this in your own old bedroom just to escape all those terrible family members, we're here for you for that. And we're also here for you if you're going to gather the whole family around. Why not? Pull this up. Your dad got Apple TV, and he's really excited that he can watch YouTube on the flat screen now. Pull it up for the whole family. Grab the little cousins around. They're fine. They're ready to hear the word fuck.
Yeah. And they just might learn something about the world.
Yeah.
Now, the world is a magical and wonderful place full of mystery and enchantment. And it's got a lot of excitement that it brings to us in our day-to-day lives. And it's just a really, really fantastic place to spend your measly, short, pathetic existence on as a grain to sand or a cog in a war machine. But the world is also a place that you need to watch out for, because you can learn from your own mistakes just as easily as you can learn from others, and a lot of people are making mistakes all the time. You just got to be thankful for the choices that you made on a day like this that are right, the choices that brought you to better things, and you've got to remember those bad choices that landed you on BuzzFeed for the guy who puked in his own pants.
Yeah. I mean, it brings to mind something we talked about before the show, thinking about bad choices, good choices, being thankful. And there's a situation that a lot of people have gotten excited about. Maybe you've been excited about it all week. Maybe you've talked about this with your friends out there already. Basically, we've recently found out that seals are fucking penguins. Is that did I get the species right, Paul? Is that what's happening?
Yeah, I do believe so.
It's a seal, not a mountain lion. I mean, a sea lion. A mountain lion fucking a penguin would be incredible.
Well, you say, how does this have to do with Thanksgiving? And on the surface level, if you're shoving, if you made like duck stuffing to shove inside of your
Oh
turkey,
yeah.
this is just like an animal getting shoved in another
It's
animal's
just a
orifice.
turducken.
Yeah, yeah.
But
It's like a turducken.
seal penguin.
It's an Antarctic version of a turducken that just has sex with each other that you don't get to eat. But I do want to I do want to tell you guys about this. So on iflscience.com, which stands for I fucking love science.
And also,
They
Paul,
found
I'm discovering it is on BBC Earth, which seems, if you weren't sure it was a real story, that sounds super reputable.
And if you guys like look at the photo they decided to use of this seal mounting this penguin, the seal is face fucking this penguin helplessly. It's not mounting him in the right direction.
Oh, I found one of doggy style.
Oh, really? Send that on over
I
to
think.
me,
Oh, it's
Steven.
a.
I've got to
It's
see
just.
the doggy
It's just the
style
first
one.
frame of a GIF or something, so it's hard for me to. But
All right. Well, I'm gonna send you the article with this seal having backwards sex with
All
a
right.
penguin.
there's a lot of.
That is on your feed now.
There's a lot of like ways to think about it. Like, I mean, I think a lot of people, Paul, have been just immediately interpreting it as like animal on animal rape. Because that's what it looks like,
Well-
and he's obviously overpowering another animal. But what if the seal loves it? I mean, what if the penguin loves it? You don't know.
Oh, that. Well, and now this article that I am looking at from iflscience.com says that there was a many years ago. There's a British explorer named George Murray Levick that caught Adelaide penguins engaging in all sorts of debauchery, such as necrophilia, sexual coercion, and sexual abuse of their young.
This is all penguins.
Penguins on penguins. Penguins are like a really rapey bird. They might be the most rapey bird.
So that actually goes to support my point that maybe they do like getting banged by seals.
Yeah, and so they speculate the incidents may have occurred because the seal was frustrated or sexually inexperienced, so he wanted to get his moves down on a penguin before he went to try to find his like mate.
Who can blame him?
Or it could have been an act of aggression as the seal attempted to protect its territory. Or it
Whoa.
could have been that they were just playing and the seal got horny and started raping the penguin.
It doesn't look like it's the seal's territory. There's a bunch of penguins walking around watching.
And what the hell are the penguin bros? Okay, if one of your buddies starts getting raped by a different species and there's hundreds of you around just watching it happen, you're not really a bro.
Paul, can you? All right. So what if me and you, and like a bunch of our bros are on IOP, like we're on Isle of Palms, right outside of Charleston.
And-
We've got like a couple cases of beer, and then out of behind the dunes, an elephant just is like, and just starts fucking me in the ass. An elephant, like it's just like,
What do we do?
and it's just banging me. Would you guys just watch?
I mean, now an elephant would be pretty difficult to get to stop raping you.
I mean, I don't know that those penguins can just stop a seal.
But they can do. If all those penguins just bum rushed the seal, no pun intended, if they just all attacked him at the same time, I think that the seal would be like, yo, even this piece of penguin ass isn't worth getting poked by, 150 penguin beaks in my eyes and face and neck.
Yeah.
So I guess what we would do is we'd probably like, if there was no like melee weapons around, like we couldn't
Yeah.
like rip a nail board off of the pier.
Right.
I think our best bet would be to start just throwing our cans of beer, all of us,
At
as hard
its
as we could at
face.
its head.
Yeah.
Yeah. To like hit it in the eye or one of those weak zones.
It's good to have a plan ready.
Yeah.
As this
Now-
penguin sure wishes he had one. Maybe.
And
Maybe.
no, I mean, maybe the penguin's just laying there like, oh man, nobody touch me. Don't touch me. This seal. I finally got this seal all to myself.
What if you guys started? What if you guys started throwing beer cans at the elephant's face, and I was just like, no, 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 guys,
Oh.
this is actually the coolest thing that's ever happened to me.
Okay.
I just loved it.
Wait. Yeah, I know. He was sucking me off with his trunk, reach around style.
Yeah, it's got moves.
So I'm reading a little bit further into this article, which has some interesting facts that you need to know about this story.
Okay.
All 4 acts observed of seal on penguin fornication follow a similar pattern, where the seal chases, captures, and then mounts the penguin, and then the seal attempts to copulate with the penguin several times, with each effort lasting around 5 minutes. And then, of course, all this harassment was tiring, so the seal would take a break between attempts. So the penguins are just, maybe they do like it, because, like, maybe they're in shock from the seal mounting, but they just kind of, like, lay there and, like, you let me know when you're ready to try again.
Yeah.
Animals are a lot like people, guys. If you're hearing how this whole, even animals that aren't the same species, they still treat each other like people do in relationships. All right, I'm laying here whenever you're ready to try again. So then penguins don't have external genitalia, and they possess an opening called a cloaca. Cloaca.
Okay.
Cloaka or ACA, cloaca, and they press their holes together, and it's called a cloacal kiss, in which the sperm is transmitted from the wiener hole of the penguin to the vaginal hole of the female penguin, and oh no!
How long is a seal dick?
I'm gonna finish telling them about this. Can you Google how big a seal dick is?
Yeah.
This is relevant. Okay, so traumatically for the penguins, some of the seals were thought to have successfully penetrated the victims' cloacas during the act because blood was observed around the area afterwards. Although seals catch and consume penguins in all but one of the acts, the seal let the penguin go afterwards. Oh, so like the seals are like raping them and then killing them and eating.
Oh, do they? Because that changes the whole game. I was curious about that.
Yeah, okay. Well, one time they let him go, but
Okay. So they're going full.
so then there's this like other thing. Did you find out how big the seal dick is?
No, but I have to tell you the funny thing that came up when I Googled that. Do you remember?
What?
Do you remember how Heidi Klum, super hot supermodel, used to date recording artist Seal?
Yeah.
It's just an article
from
that
a
says
rose.
Heidi Klum talks about how big Seal's dick is. So we can find that
Wow.
out. But
Yeah, well, that's for the next segment.
but no, I did not. None of the top 7 results were about how long a seal penis is.
Penguins could be merely an easy target for practicing copulation with. It can be possibly related to hormonal surges experienced during the mating season, but it's only speculation as to why these seals are raping the penguins. Do you want to know my theory?
Yes.
We read above that George Murray Levick had caught several sorts of instances of necrophilia, sexual coercion, which is like
Right.
Forcing sex on something, and then sexual abuse of their young. And maybe the seals are like the instant karma for the sexually deviant penguins. Like,
Right.
oh, you want to rape your kids, and you want to rape other penguins, and you want to rape dead penguins? They're penguins. You're a penguin. You can't treat your own kind like that. We're going to teach you a lesson
Yeah.
in sexual coercion. and then we're gonna fucking eat you in front of all your friends.
Yeah, it's like nature correcting how deviant seals have gotten.
No, how deviant penguins
Yeah,
are
yeah,
gotten.
sorry.
The seals are like the rapey superheroes
Yeah.
of this
How
story.
deviant penguins have gotten. Because penguins are probably
Yeah.
they're so perverted that they just welcome the initial sex act. They don't
Like,
know.
The seal walks in. Yeah, the seal walks in. He's like, "You want to play chase?"
Yeah,
Penguin's like, "Yeah, I'll play chase."
yeah.
He's like, "You better run fast, you fucking penguin, because I'm gonna eat you when I get you after I rape you.
Yeah, it's like,
I heard what you were doing to your kids." It's kind of like the NFL punishing people for like hurting their kids and stuff or their wives. Like
yeah, it's
the seals are like the
they're like
fine.
Roger Goodell handing down
Yeah.
punishments. It's dude, it's like why you tell your kids not to accept candy from strangers. It's not because candy's bad. It's because sometimes after you take candy from a stranger, you get raped. And penguins need to start. Penguins need to start teaching their children not to accept penises from seals. Because sometimes
Yeah.
after you do that, you get murdered and eaten.
All right, so what does this have to do with Thanksgiving? The stuffing. Thanksgiving is also a holiday that traditionally brings cooking up a notch and puts an animal in another animal.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about too. And I am thankful that the seals are giving these perverted, rapey penguins what they deserved all along.
I'm showing pictures of turducken now because I want if anyone's lucky enough to have a turducken this year when they're eating it, I want them to think about penguins and seals. I
Yeah.
want these images to be
We do not-
associated.
And you could hear it first here on Human Landmines. The Antarctic turducken is penguin shoved inside of a seal, and inside of the penguin is what do we shove in the inside of the penguin? A snowball.
Like a Arctic shard fish.
Oh, it's a humpback whale with a seal shoved in it, with 50 seals shoved in it. And there's a penguin up each of the seals' asses.
That's impressive.
It can feed a small country,
By the way, Paul and I
and it
Paul-
takes you 4 months to cook.
Paul and I totally are not vegetarians. And if you want to eat a turducken, we're not trying to shame you. We're just trying to teach you about shoving animals inside of other animals. You can eat whatever you want.
No, I guess like a lot of people too, and I'm not downplaying the genocidal undertones of Thanksgiving.
Sure.
And I think that what the colonists did to the Native Americans in America was a great, great travesty. One of the most understated, race-wide tragedies that ever happened in the history of the planet. But I don't think anybody should protest Thanksgiving for that, because it's kind of just a holiday where you get together with some people on a special day and you eat a bunch of food and watch, like, most likely the two lamest teams in the NFL play each other. And you just get drunk and, like, you don't even have to do anything on Thanksgiving except eat food and get drunk. Or if you're the cooker of the food, you have to cook it.
Yeah.
But there's no, like, you don't really have to buy any presents for anybody. And at the, if it does get really involved, you might go around the table and tell everybody what you're thankful for and why you're thankful for them being here.
Yeah.
And that's what it is now, and, it might be offensive to some people, but it's been a long time since we settled in America.
Yeah, there's obviously the negative, pessimist view of Thanksgiving, which is the stuff you just talked about, the genocide. But then those kinds of people, even if you're like, oh, bring it to the present, they'll say it's just a celebration of American gluttony. We're going to stuff ourselves. But you don't have to make it that. It's you can find a negative in everything. Like, everything has a terrible side to it. America's terrible. We had to kill all kinds of people to live here. Like, but you're not moving. So quit being a bitch and find the good parts of Thanksgiving, which is like There's also a great tradition of like inviting people over who can't afford a meal. It's a time to get together with friends and family and like sit around a table, which none of us do anymore because we watch Netflix while we eat. So yeah, I'm for finding the good parts of it, not focusing on the negatives, because it's here. And if your fucking life crusade is to end Thanksgiving, then you're a miserable person anyways.
Yeah. Why don't you do something positive, like figure out a way that we could teleport from place to place?
That'd be so much more helpful than ending Thanksgiving.
Now, the past few years, my my Thanksgiving situation has been kind of strange because even though I'm pretty close with some family that lives by, they end up visiting other relatives for Thanksgiving, which I don't always get to go visit with them.
Sure.
So my Thanksgiving, I've always just worked. For the past like 3 years, I've worked, and some shifts it's like really warm and nice, and I end up making a lot of money.
Yeah.
And some shifts I don't. It's super cold and it fucking blows out there, and I don't make that much money. But the coolest part about working on Thanksgiving for me is that I'm usually with the same people every year, like the same 4 people working on it.
Oh yeah.
And all the restaurants around town give us free Thanksgiving dinner. So we get in between 2 and 3 full plates of Thanksgiving food from day's start to day's end, just for free when we like drop off by the restaurant. They're like, "Oh, sweet, thanks for bringing us some people. Do you want us to make you a to-go box?" And you're like, "Happy Thanksgiving," and they run you one out, and
Yeah, that's awesome.
that's pretty cool to me because they're being like very, they have some holiday cheer.
And you're grasping on to all the good shit about Thanksgiving, which you said you're like with the same people, like, which is kind of like family and friends vibe. You get to work with the same people, and you're talking about other people's generosity hooking you guys up with Thanksgiving meals. I don't know. Yeah, that's all the
Yeah,
good
and
stuff.
And then we get off work early and we go to the same bar every year and get drunk, and we see that, like it's like a pretty busy atmosphere, but we know a lot of the people, and it's like a pretty fun celebration. I think everybody should have, it can change every few years. It might change what you do, but the holidays aren't a time to like not have fun.
Yeah, yeah. It's just there seems to be a certain population of people who have nothing better to do that would rather just bitch about stuff like Thanksgiving or like try to ruin fun. There's people out there who are taking positive experiences and just trying to point out what's wrong with them. And they usually come from a place of acting like they're looking out for the little guy. Like someone would shame you into having fun for Thanksgiving in the name of the Native Americans, right? They're like claiming to be protecting some class of people who's underrepresented. But in reality, I feel like the poor people in this country and the underrepresented are like trying to have a good time on Thanksgiving. It's completely backwards. Only someone with free time and like advantages has enough energy to bitch about Thanksgiving. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I'm not saying this for every critical article that comes out or every time somebody has a reason to down talk something. I'm not attributing it to this, but a lot of people who like gather under these blanket excuses to hate something or to make people feel bad about doing something, their lives have nothing important going on.
Yeah. Right.
And so they might say, yeah, well, the genocide that happened over 200 years ago was almost, 2.5 centuries ago was like really, really terrible. And I can't believe you come together and do this. But if there wasn't a holiday about the genocide 250 years ago, if there wasn't a holiday, kind of celebrating that feast that we were all kind of taught in school that happened between the Pilgrims and the Indians.
Right.
If there wasn't a holiday, if it was like just an unobserved day that never got picked up, they wouldn't give 2 shits about how many Native Americans.
Right. You can't, man. too much terrible shit has happened on Earth.
Yeah, like you're like, yo, yeah, I'm really excited for the Sochi Olympic Games. Yeah, fuck Russia.
Right,
I
right.
hate Stalin. So many people died. Nobody's talked about Stalin. Everybody's like, they hate gay people over there. Is like the big story. But as bad as it sucks, if there's a group of people who are stubborn enough to hate another group of people for no reason, you shouldn't be mad that you can't go over there and hang out with the people who hate you.
Yeah.
Just don't go there. Like, you got to create your own universe, and there's some places that I don't feel welcome in or comfortable in, so I don't go there.
Right. The history of I'm plagiarizing this. I just heard someone say this on Joe Rogan's podcast, but like the history of the Earth and the history of the United States, if you read the books, history books, it's a history of war and violence. That's what they fucking talk about. Like, you go through and it's like, oh, we had the Revolutionary War, and there was the War of 1812, and we had the Civil War, and we had World War I and World War II, and we did Korean War and Vietnam, and like, that's what people talk about. Terrible things have happened everywhere and keep on happening, and to dwell on that is someone's own personal choice. Like,
Yeah.
we're trying to celebrate, man, and eat turkey and get drunk and like have some friends over. Quit. Like, why would you have to bring that up? You can bring that up on like every square inch of dirt. We've talked about on this show before that the world is getting less violent. So like,
And like, we have less of a chance of dying than we ever have.
yeah.
But I guess it's the same way that the news media treats it too. Like, with the Ebola thing, sure, Ebola is a real threat, but we should only be updated when shit's happening. We shouldn't hear about Ebola every fucking day.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, we might all have Ebola right now, and guess what? We'd be dead.
Yeah.
I don't have to, I'm not gonna watch the news about it. I might go to a doctor and see what he can do, but I'm just gonna keep every day when I wake up. I try to have a relatively low drama, fun day.
Yeah.
And when, maybe somebody will call me midway through the day and be like, hey, let's go do this super fun thing. And that makes my day better. But I never, like, go to sleep at night thinking, oh, what a horrible day.
That's good, man.
But that some people have horrible days every day. They might only have, like, one good day a week.
You're right.
And nothing special happens to me every day.
Right.
It's not like an angel comes down and farts in my face and gives me x-ray vision every day.
I wish an angel did.
But
yeah, I think one part of it that's complete bullshit is unearned guilt. Like, people will think about Thanksgiving or slavery or women's rights and think like, they'll say, like, the thought is, we killed all those Indians. Like, really? Is it we? Did you kill the Indian? Like, we like inherit this guilt that we don't need to inherit. Like, I didn't kill a Native American. Why are you saying it's we? Because I'm like descended from people that were abusive to Indians, but it's not we. And like, that's honestly on the part of like me and you, and like, that's the responsibility of us to tell correct people when they use we. Like, we enslaved all those African Americans. Like, you have to be like, no, it's not we. We didn't do that, and we don't have to feel like we did that. I don't know.
yeah, I'm thankful that we don't have blood on our hands personally.
Yeah, and that's all we can affect, right? Ourselves.
And I guess the main goal is to, like, go throughout your life every day and to try not to push anybody under the bus when you're climbing to the top of the pops, you know what I mean?
Fuck yeah.
You don't want to have any blood on your hands when you're on the throne, because we've all watched Game of Thrones, and everybody who does something wrong eventually gets really revenged upon. I'm thankful for Game of Thrones.
Hey everybody, sorry about that. That's typical for all of our full-length podcasts is we have some kind of technical difficulty. But basically what you missed was Paul transitioning into saying that he was thankful for Game of Thrones.
I'm thankful for Game of Thrones, and I'm thankful that we get to continue the podcast, but Steven was telling me something very, very interesting about the upcoming Game of Thrones, which is important because I'm thankful for this.
I can't believe, I don't know, but I'm super into so I'm really into Cersei, and everybody likes Khaleesi, but I mean I do too. But we've already seen her boobs a lot, and apparently we get to see Cersei's boobs in the upcoming season. But they caught in a snag a few months ago because they were trying to. This is awesome. Her scene where you see her boobs. For some reason, she's gonna be walking out of a church with her tits out, and the church wouldn't let them film it. And they were trying to shut down my Cersei boobs, and I was pissed. So I hope they worked it out, Paul.
The church wouldn't let him. So
they let them film there, and then they found out that they were gonna show tits walking out of their church, and they were like, I don't know, man.
If there's one thing I learned about the church growing up, being raised Catholic, is there is a price tag on them letting boobs walk out of that church on film.
Oh yeah, you think if they would just
I bet you they were just paying a
few more bucks?
I bet they were just paying straight up location shoot. And they're like, yeah, we just have a scene to film here. We'll only be here for 1 8-hour day. We could set up and break down. We'll only take up your church for 1 day. And the church is like, okay, sounds good. That's great. And they're like, what scene are you filming? And they're like, oh, well, this is a very popular show, so we can't tell you about what's in the scene. And the church is like, okay, as long as nobody's dying in it, that's fine. And then somebody from the church is like, maybe the janitor's sweeping up, and he tweets, yo, I just saw Cersei's titties walking out. And then the priest follows him on Twitter or something, is like, oh, damn, they didn't pay us enough money to have titties walking out of the church. We got to renegotiate this contract.
I like how the janitor in some Eastern European mountain church is a black guy from the Bronx. Who's tweeting stuff.
He's seen places, his life's been a roller coaster ride, and he's trying to settle down and just be the groundskeeper of this church, but he's still got his iPhone 5.
Oh, that's the show I want to make. It's a comedy about that guy who's the groundskeeper. Oh, I'd watch that.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Anytime. Shit. Speaking of tits, Paul.
I'm thankful for tits.
Who's not? You have a theory
Even gay guys like grabbing boobies.
Yeah, they do. I've always appreciated that about them.
Yeah.
Paul, you were telling me that that Snapchat is possibly offering a couple new services, changing up their business model.
Yeah, well, now, I am a user of Snapchat. You can send me your titties and dick pics and butthole pics and vag pics. My username is PaulDaddy1999, no spaces. Mm-hmm. But PaulDaddy1999 occasionally receives these snaps from Team Snapchat. And they're a whole different color, and than the other emblems that show picture or video. And they're just blue instead of being red for a picture or purple for a video. It's like a little blue square. And it's always kind of Happy Valentine's Day from Team Snapchat, from us to you. But occasionally when there's an update, Team Snapchat will release a video that shows the feature of the update, which is an edited video. It's not like, hey, this is Bob from Team Snapchat. If you want to send a video, hold the button down. It's not like that. It's
not like this show.
No, it's way better production quality than our own show. Oh, man. Zach Pav is calling me right now.
What a jerk.
I'll call him back.
Yeah.
Anyway, I found this particularly amusing because Snapchat is doing something ridiculous, and they are marketing it as like a just a normal function. But we're talking about the Snapchat app, which uh, so the new Team Snapchat update that I received was this like nerdy brother and sister in like this shitty sort of like flea market. And the nerdy brother goes, "This ugly figurine would be perfect for mom." She's like, "You gotta get it for mom." He's like, "I'm gonna buy this ugly figurine for mom." Then he flips it over and looks at the price tag and he's like, "But I don't have $15. Can you snap me the money?" She's like, "Yeah, hang on." And does it really quick on her phone. So the sister snaps the brother $15 in like some sort of anonymous internet currency Bitcoin type of thing. Like you charge up your Snap credits and then you can send those to people and then they can cash them in as real money. And so you're saying who cares if nerdy guy gets $15 from his sister? That's not what it's going to be used for.
I like how you immediately figured this out.
It was so. I was like, wait a minute. You can send money over Snapchat now? Nobody's gonna. Oh yeah, like folks, put us in this situation scenario. Yeah, Steven really wants to buy a T-shirt at the show he's at, but he just kind of like is in the red on his card, so I'm gonna snap him $20 because he texted me. No, you borrowed $20 from your buddy at the show.
Yeah.
You are the Snapchat currency is basically privatizing the webcam industry. Because Snapchat is an app created for showing your dicks and balls and buttholes and pussies and tits. And it's created to send somebody that, and apparently it disappears. So there's like ghost traces of everybody's buttholes in the black part of the interweb apparently. But
yeah.
But now because Snapchat added a chat feature. So
right.
If you send me something, I can just like have a dialogue with you, even if it's in like a video form, I guess. So
right.
Basically, a girl sends a guy a picture of her boobs. And he's like, "Yo, I want to see the rest." And she's like, "Ha ha ha ha, not gonna happen." And then he snaps her $100.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Show me the rest for 5 minutes. Now." It privatized the webcam industry. Like all these sites that are like host to these girls and guys like doing whatever people want in the chat room on a cam. They'll probably still be around, but there is a chance that if the word gets out and people realize they could do it like this, it's like a more direct way to give money to somebody without getting a cut.
There's no fucking bullshit livecam.com whatever middleman anymore. All you got to do is find somebody to Snapchat with. I mean, I'm for it, Paul.
Do you have Snapchat?
No, but I mean, I would like for young men and women whose dicks and tits have value to be able to deliver those images to people for $7 if they want to. That's awesome.
So
it's so awesome.
So at first Snapchat was like, you can only follow the people who are in your phone list and they have to accept you to follow them and vice versa. But now Snapchat has this thing called a story, which everyone can see for 24 hours. And they can watch it over again if they'd like.
Okay.
So not only do you have your Snapchats that you're getting sent individually, but you have this list of everybody's name that you know, and if they had posted a story thing within the last 24 hours, you can watch it.
Oh, so you could do like a Paul story, and everyone on
and I could take like
could see it.
Yeah, I could take all of my friends could see it, but if somebody went and followed Paul Daddy 1999, even
Yeah.
if we weren't Snapchat contacts, they're like following me as
They can see
it's
it.
like an Instagram. They can
Right,
see
you're just sharing it.
yeah, so if I post like 10-second videos of me at the Red Hot Chili Peppers concert,
Yeah.
they can like see my whole story without necessarily following me. So there's a lot of strippers and dancers and like private models that have their like Snapchats. They just Snapchat naked photos of themselves all the time and put it on their story, and they'll sell calendars or they'll like use that to be an avenue to like book live performances. Like if they're coming to New York for 2 weeks from Sydney, Australia, they'll use Snapchat to book their dates in New York because people can see the type that they can see them dancing naked and then like
They've got followers
yeah,
and
and
shit,
like
right?
other girls licking whipped cream off their boobs, and but you can just follow these people. So um, those people who've already been using Snapchat as kind of like I'm an adult entertainer and I'm going to use this to push my business. Those are the people who are going to make a shitload of money off of it because
Yeah.
those girls like I'm not gonna lie, I watch it. A bunch of the dudes that I work with, we all share. Oh yeah, you know Seji Fergo. What do you follow? Cherry D27. Her story's sweet. Oh yeah, what about Just for Lols or Princess Calm or whatever? There's tons of there's tons of girls doing this, and I'm sure there's dudes doing it too. But those are
And
the.
think about it, man. It's like all it takes.
I-
So you're a normal
I just
dude.
have one more thing to say.
Yeah,
is
yeah.
that they're already they already Snapchat out stuff like a sign between their boobs with their Twitter handle or whatever, and the Snapchat text will say, "Private message me to buy a personalized Snapchat with your handle," and they're already doing this. Like
Right.
guys are
It's
PayPal.
a roundabout way right now.
But do you realize how much this opens up?
Yeah, yeah. And what I'm saying is like, so guys like you, who are normal, you can get laid without paying for anything. You don't buy porn. But I'm saying, so you're drunk. It's 2 a.m. You're like, you know what? I don't care. Just for fun, I'm gonna put in $5 US
And I'm gonna
dollars in
screenshot my name on these boobs.
No, it's just like, so if there's girls already, Paul, you're saying who like have all these people who Snapchat with them, even if they sell or exchange tit pics for money for $1, what if they have like fucking 5,000 people that are willing to do that?
Yeah.
They take one picture of their boobs and they make $5,000.
Like with me, I just follow a few of those people. So when I'm looking at like the dumb girl's dog that I've seen 5 million times Snapchatted in a video, the next one I get to look at is like a couple boobs and like two strippers pillow fighting each other for 10 seconds. And then the next one down the list is like some dumb bro's dog. And I'm just thankful that I don't really, I rarely ever get boobies on my Snapchat from people I know. So I'm just thankful, like, I can randomly see a boob, when I have, like, some downtime at work and make my day better. I'm thankful for that. And I'm also thankful for dogs. Thankful for Boomer. You guys see Boomer?
Aww.
Can you see him?
Big booms.
He's so tired from laying around all day.
Paul, Snapchat is Snapchat the one that Facebook bought or no?
It might.
Oh no, it says Snapchat tried to buy, or Facebook tried to buy Snapchat for $3 billion.
Oh, I think the dude told him to go fuck themselves.
Yeah, and he says that he said now that they've made this new feature, I just googled Snapchat bot. It says Snapchat is now valued at $10 billion. God damn.
Weren't you telling me that Mark Cuban made his own Snapchat where the things really disappear?
Yes, Mark Cuban. I think Mark Cuban had to go to court for something that he got in trouble for. Like he literally, he's like a shady businessman. So he made the Snapchat for like actual shady financial documents where it's not in any way saved anywhere, apparently. Yeah, that does exist. Good old Mark Cuban.
I'm thankful for Mark Cuban.
Me too, man. He's a United States of America character. I like any rich guys that do what we would do if we were rich. Like, dude, if I had like $1 billion, I'd fucking buy an NBA team. And he does it. He's like Richard Branson's the other one. Have I said that on this podcast? Because Richard Branson has an island and like spaceships. That's like, I got $1 billion. I'm buying an island and like a spaceship. And that's what he did. Like, I like rich guys who act like
they're
I
rich
would
guys
act
who
if I
are
was
truly
rich.
thankful for being rich.
Exactly. They're not just like still going to work for 17 hours a day on Wall Street. They're like, oh, I'm rich now. I'm doing whatever the fuck I want.
When I lived in New York, I was there for right around 5 months, and I held 6 jobs, and I was only employed for 3.5 months. And the only reason I'm bringing this up is because I was in New York during Occupy Wall Street.
Yeah.
And I still managed to find 6 jobs, not knowing anybody but you, really, in the city.
Sure.
And those are the type of people who hate on Thanksgiving, and the type of people who are occupying Wall Street.
Yeah, the same people that hate Thanksgiving hate Mark Cuban and Richard Branson too. Rich guys who are actually having fun.
The same people who hate Mark Cuban and Richard Branson are the same people who don't let people film boobs in their church when they're already accepting an exorbitant amount of money from a privately owned television company that's one of the biggest in the world. Like, wait.
Yeah.
We're okay with all the blood and raping in the church, but you can't have nipples walking out the doors.
Yeah, dude,
for
that's
this
such a good
price.
Point. That's such a good point.
Do you think Cersei's walking out of a church in Game of Thrones with her shirt off? Without anybody dying in there? Something else terrible happening in there?
Right, without her like having incest in there first, or like
you
don't just have your shirt off.
And there's plenty of churches. This is also the other thing. It's not like they're saying, "Hey, we're a porn company. We want to film 2 people banging on your sacred altar." It's a professional production, to where it's like, how many sex scenes have been filmed in a church before? Lots.
Yeah. Many.
There's a blowjob scene in the first episode of Californication. Detroit Rock City has 2 high school kids fucking in a confessional booth. And those are just the 2 that come off the top of my head out of film and television. Those come out the top of my head.
Game of Thrones had Cersei getting like half raped by her brother in the last season in a church right in front of their dead son.
But my point is that it's actors. They're not really doing it.
Right.
So what's the difference if she gets raped on the altar by her brother on top of their dead son and walks out with her nipples out or not?
Yeah, it makes it really obvious that the church isn't defending morality, they're defending their brand, because they probably realize that if she's walking outside the church, then you can tell what church it is, and otherwise you couldn't. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, because the 20 people who live in that Icelandic mountain town are gonna be pissed.
Exactly.
Why do people try to hinder art?
I mean, a lot of reasons, but the church has the most convoluted ones.
I guess you're right. Mental fences.
Yeah, that's where I was going to go with it.
Well, like, I was going to say the drummer of Foo Fighters called the YouTube album a fart.
That's hilarious. I haven't listened to the Foo Fighters' new album or U2's album.
I haven't either. I've heard more of U2's new album through, like, commercials and stuff than the new Foo Fighters album, but you got a bunch of really fucking old geezers who still want to write rock, like commercial rock music. Why are you going to call them a fart? You don't have to listen to it. You don't have to support it. You're just the guy hating it.
Yeah, man, I feel like that happens on the most fundamental levels. There's a specific guy who I obviously won't name, but this was when I was playing in bands in Tallahassee, and every time you would talk about a local band, whatever you were talking about, they're playing a show or they did blah 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 at a show or they're putting out an album, he would just point out whatever the problem with that band was. I feel like there's some really bullshitty competition between bands that goes from local bands in Tallahassee all the way up to Foo Fighters and U2, where like some people can't even listen to music without like pointing out what's shitty about it. And I'm guilty of it too. Sometimes
Yeah.
it's jealousy. Sometimes the coolest band I listen to, I'm like, yeah, but they had this shitty part, you know?
Yeah, and I guess like that's part of growing up for everybody is to be able to understand why things are created the way they are. And you could have some higher knowledge understanding in your head, like, yeah, I understand what they were going for, but they really boxed themselves in with this.
Yeah. And it's like, just be like, oh, they're just doing their thing, man. Like,
Yeah.
you don't like that.
If you don't like it, you don't like it, but there's no reason to dwell on it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's yeah, you're right. Man, my instinct was to pile on to U2 too, because I don't like them, but it's so you're right, it's so shitty that the Foo Fighters guy
They're-
thinks he has to do that.
Well, okay, and he didn't even bring this up in the interview that I read.
Yeah.
I think that the new U2 album, the album that got put on like 500 million people's iPhones
Yeah.
unknowingly, it is kind of like farting. It's like having a fart cloud that can encompass 500 million people because whether they want to or not, they're gonna smell it.
You mean like symbolically, not that the album sounds like fart noises like some dubstep does.
Yeah, sometimes that like sounds like somebody's.
Actually
Yeah,
farting.
they've been eating tacos and drinking coffee for 5 days. But no, like metaphorically, they release their album like a fart. They're like, whether people like it or not, they're gonna have access to it,
Yeah.
and whether they go away or they sit here and smell it, that's up to them.
Yeah. And if you're listening to this on Thanksgiving with your family, please don't fart right now just because
Yeah.
we're talking about
Yeah,
it. It
please.
doesn't give you carte blanche to fart. You're probably at a large family home with multiple bathrooms, so just go to the one upstairs or furthest away from where you're watching it and fart there. Be nice about it.
But the internet is full of farts. Like all Facebook has turned into is this website that anybody can post what they want you to see on it, and Facebook has like the grand control of the logistical what shows up on your mini feed, and it's like, see, my biggest all right, everybody can show you whatever they want, and whether you watch it or not or look it up or not, that's up to you. I
Yeah.
hate the articles that are written, the headlines are written like they know me. That's It's like a man asks his girlfriend to marry him, and you'll never believe what happens next.
Oh God, yeah. I have one that I don't know how it started. They're probably just pumping money into it. It's like moviepilots.com, but they'll post about any celeb culture, and it's always like some article about Daniel Radcliffe, and it's like, he did what in his new movie? Oh my God! Like that's the only like description.
He had
They
a
just
shirt
want you
off
to-
makeout scene.
with who? It's always questions
Renee
like that.
Zellweger.
God damn it, give me the full headline, you bitches. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not clicking on it if I don't know. I'm the opposite. Like, if it was like Daniel Radcliffe just made out with Jennifer Aniston, then maybe I'd click on it, because that's weird. But
Every-
their open-ended bullshit doesn't work on me.
Well, like, the wool was pulled over my eyes for maybe a few months, but now I click on the articles just to be like, this is going to be dumb and I'm not going to be surprised. And it happens every time. And so I guess it's like a reassuring myself that I'm on the right life path. Is like,
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
Dwayne The Rock Johnson took his shirt off in his new movie, and you'll never guess what else he took off either. And so I click on the article, and it'll be like, Dwayne also took off his hat. And I'm like, all
Yeah,
right,
exactly.
yeah, I knew he wasn't, because if somebody's like The Rock's dick is in this new movie,
Right.
out of pure human intrigue, I don't want to know how big that dude's hanger is.
Right.
'Cause-
When Kim Kardashian showed her ass, the articles didn't say, "You'll never guess what article of clothing Kim Kardashian took off." They said, "Here's Kim Kardashian's ass."
Yeah,
If something cool actually happens, it's unavoidable. That's how you know all of those articles are bullshit. Like that try to lead you into thinking something cool happened.
Kim Kardashian tried to break the internet, but apparently the guy who tweeted, or I'm sorry, the guy who landed the comet on the asteroid was tweeted
Yeah.
like almost twice as much as Kim Kardashian's ass.
That's the best thing I've ever heard. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think I saw it on Death and Taxes. It's like everybody, it's something to the effect of everybody is, relax. The guy who landed the spaceship on the comet is way more relevant to the internet than Kim Kardashian's ass.
Oh man,
And-
that's
and in such an
that's awesome
instant-
news.
In such an instant gratification society as we have today, where like some girls, like, they say, hey, I'll show you my boobs for a free ride, or I'll show you my boobs for a free pizza, or show you my boobs for a free drink. I think everybody should
Yeah.
say, listen, your boobs have way less power since I can Google two 90-year-old women fisting each other and shit fighting right now for free.
Yes, which should be your response to when anyone asks you that. Propositions.
Yeah, hey,
Unless it's on
hey, I'll show you
Snapchat
my
and it's
boobs
late
for
at
a free
night.
pizza. Well, how about you come in the back room and we have fornication? Because that's a barter system.
Yeah,
Uh,
I'm on board.
I'm just saying, like, nudity
By the
is
way,
not,
everyone, we
nudity is
landed
not
a
that big a
fucking-
deal. We shouldn't treat it that way.
Yeah. What is a big deal is we landed a robot on a comet. And if you didn't know that already out there, Google that, because that's crazy. I heard it was, did you hear about Paul, it like bounced a couple times and landed in a bad spot?
No.
It might be dead already, but it's still, they did it and got some data. Yeah, it was supposed to be solar charged once it got landed, but they accidentally landed it in like a valley within the
Yeah, because those things are
within the
huge. They're
giant
like,
rock.
if you cut it in half and flipped it flat side down, it would cover the city of LA.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
huge.
Yeah, so they landed it in like a spot where it was only going to get like 40 minutes of sun every Earth day. So it might have only been giving us data every few days, but still badass. Like, who cares? They landed that.
It wasn't manned.
Right. It
Um,
was robot.
Steven, you were talking to
Crazy
me
if it
about
was
a
manned.
big issue picture about how the aliens might be controlling us right now. Steven's,
Oh yeah.
I'm the realist.
Here's
I think
your-
everything happens for a reason and it's all logical. Steven's a conspiracy guy.
Well, no, this is just I don't
You
actually
are the
believe this is
conspiracy
true.
guy, though.
Yeah, all right. No, here's just your stoner thought for the day. Whenever you're contemplating, like, maybe we're all in the Matrix, or maybe I don't know, maybe we're all aliens that were put here by other people, here's just another thought for that. So yeah, I was thinking, like, there's all these large-scale farming things, Paul. Like, people bitch about GMOs, right? Because giant companies own all the farms now, and there's just, like, half of a state is corn. And if you were just a little animal going there, you would never know it was a farm. Like, how would you fucking know? You could spend your whole life there and not know that you were on a farm. So my high thought is that, like, we'll just take that to the next level. If us Earthlings did end up colonizing space, what if we found some perfect planet to just grow food on? We would, like, colonize it. What if we just made a planet of all cows and corn? We would do it. So my thought is, what if aliens are already doing that to us? And they live off of, I don't know, we breathe out carbon dioxide. So maybe like aliens are harvesting our carbon dioxide or something. We would never know if like some alien set up Earth as a farm and we're just animals in part of some gigantic scheme. But then my little twist was they wanted to save money. They could build like a super galactic fence that like went around all of Earth. But instead, they were like, we can save a lot of money. We've had practice making farm planets before. All you do is you introduce this idea of religion. You just tell a few people about it. They'll spread it around, and then a few miles away, you introduce another religion. And those people will just fucking fight each other enough and bomb each other, and every once in a while they'll bomb each other back to the Stone Age. And that way, you don't have to build a galactic fence because they'll never develop the good spaceships to get off their own planet. And all we have to do is every once in a while start a new religion, and they'll just keep fighting. We can keep harvesting their whatever they're harvesting.
So
carbon dioxide.
So like, just for the reference of human history, they introduced Judaism, which is like, they introduced a bunch of religions, but Judaism's probably one of the more popular that's still practiced today. And when that started to overtake it, they introduced Christianity, and when that started to overtake it, they introduced Islam. And then when that started to overtake it, John Travolta and Tom Cruise introduced Scientology.
Yeah. They're just like, one of these someone will get violent enough about that they'll fucking all kill each other.
See, I know that you and I think it's a really cool idea. I think it'd be, you heard this first on Human Landmines, it would be a great science fiction movie like Interstellar if right before they launched the spaceships, aliens came down like, we're not letting you fucking leave! You superseded religion, you motherfuckers!
Or like you get past a certain point.
Build a
like
fucking cow and make it fuck another one!
They're like cool with us getting to Mars, and after that they're like, all right, stop. We can't have you guys like get out of our grasp.
Yeah. Oh man, what they should just do is blow up Mars. Just to send us a message.
I think that if they blew up Mars, this is how little me and Paul actually know, even though we talk about stuff. Wouldn't pieces of it like rocket into Earth and destroy Earth too?
Not if they blew it up real good.
Like really small pieces.
I'm talking about a good American-made explosion.
Oh man, god damn, that's fun to think about. Like, what if you woke up tomorrow and top trending article was like Mars is gone?
Yeah. Hey, I'm thankful. In the words of Tennessee Williams, I'm thankful for the Bella Reeve that we all live in, the beautiful dream.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And we're all in a beautiful dream, and we choose to acknowledge the things we like and not acknowledge the things we dislike. And we shouldn't ignore any problems, but if there's some assholes, we shouldn't acknowledge them. And we should make our own universe and really, really keep the people around that we love being around and think about and better the things that we want to be better. And that's what being a human is all.
Yeah, I'll close with a couple of like honest things that I'm thankful for. I'll go cheesy with the first one. I'm thankful for all of our wonderful Human Landmines guests that we've had over the years who've made this show more interesting. From Michael Hanf to, I don't know, who was our last guest we've had?
Henry Riggs.
Henry Riggs. From Michael Hanf to Henry Riggs. They've all been awesome. So yeah, if you're bored, go check out some of those. We had some great guests. Go check out some episodes with guests in the spirit of Thanksgiving.
Yeah, and whether you're with your friends or with your family or with your bottle of hooch in your basement waiting in a bathtub for the apocalypse, tune in your laptops to humanlandmines.com and check us out. Because we're the only people telling you the best pseudoscience on the internet besides all the lames and the fakes. They got no swag.
That's right.
Have
Peace, bitches.
Happy Thanksgiving, bitches. Crack that bottle, we're gonna take a trip on the information